This hangout on air is live. Okay.
Woo!
All right. Okay. Welcome to the Midwest Film Nerds podcast. I am Alex.
I'm Tim.
I'm Nick.
I'm Willie.
Today we're going to do a little roundup of Comic-Con news. Tim's probably going to talk about the Blair Witch 2, and then we're going to finish our show with a review of Justin Lin's Star Trek Beyond. But before we get to all that, feedback at MidwestFilmNerds.com is where you can write to us and let us know what you think of the show and the things that we talk about. We're also at MFN Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. MidwestFilmNerds.com has all previous 188 plus bonus episodes with full show notes, so you can go there to skip over the spoiler terry and other things that you don't want to hear. And please check out Gone to Texas. That's our Preacher recap podcast episode, the finale of the series, of the season, not series, because there's going to be a season 2. But the finale of the season is airing next week, so you have all week to catch up on the show and our podcast to then listen to our finale recap and then season recap episodes. So please do all that. Rate and review us on iTunes, all that good stuff. If you're listening to this on the audio feed right now, there's also supposedly a YouTube video that may or may not remain on YouTube if you want to go and watch this first video episode of the Midwest Film Nerds podcast. Check it out on the Midwest Film Nerds, the Midwest Podcast Network YouTube channel. And there's probably going to be a link to it on the show notes and on Facebook. So, with all that being said, there was a lot of Comic-Con news this past week. We can go over the non-comic stuff first and talk about the movie that was known as The Woods. People were saying they were working on a movie called The Woods, and it turns out that it has been retitled and shown at Comic-Con as Blair Witch. Did anybody look into this? Did you watch any trailers or anything?
No, I have not seen anything for it. I think I read that it was also a found footage like the first one.
Yeah, it says it's a Netflix original. Or no, I'm sorry, that's something else. Yeah, I think it's found footage. But other than that, I didn't hear too much about it other than people were excited about it and that it was a new Blair Witch. It's actually a sequel in the way that it erases Blair Witch 2.
Nothing will erase Blair Witch 2.
Never. Always. It always lives on.
Tim, how was
Forever in
Blair
our
Witch
hearts.
2?
Thanks, Alex. Thanks for asking. I watched Blair Witch 2 a couple weeks ago. I don't remember a lot of it. It was the first time I watched it since it came out. Everybody hated Blair Witch 2. That's all I remember.
Excuse me, it's Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2.
Yes. Yeah, Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2. And everybody hated it because it's not found footage, and it's also like this weird meta thing with the guy from Burn Notice. And he wasn't the guy from Burn Notice at the time.
Bruce Campbell?
Not Bruce Campbell.
Damn.
No, not
Jeffrey
Tim
Donovan.
Jeffrey Donovan.
Jeffrey Donovan. So he's in it, but all I really remember about it is there's some cool witch stuff, like halfway through, like for the most part, and then it ends with a giant orgy. So it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's I would watch it before I watch the first one again. So
Good to know. Good to know. Well,
but it's not one of those, like, I thought it was gonna be one of those like crazy horror sequels that I like will stick up for now, but I don't think I can do that quite.
okay. Well, is anybody excited about a Blair Witch sequel?
Yeah, I'm down.
You're gonna check it out?
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna check it out. Who's directing it? Isn't it? It's
The Guest.
Help me out here. It's Wingard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out.
That's kind of cool, yeah.
I'm gonna check out anything that guy makes at this point. It's found footage or mockumentary or whatever.
All right, yeah, it looks like
He's a winner.
It's slated to come out September 16th. So maybe we'll be talking about it then.
Maybe.
Next up on the docket, Kong Skull Island.
Oh,
Did anybody watch that trailer?
Yes.
What'd you think?
Yes.
Nick.
It was kind of cool. It kind of gave me similar vibes that Gareth's Godzilla did, except not that good. But they're trying to set up the same kind of atmosphere of just like foreboding and like trying to reinvent the big guy in the suit or the little animatronic guy, and you know make it into something bigger and better for a new audience. And it kind of works. It's a little moody. There's some cool stuff, but Sam Jackson rolls up right away, and I was like, oh, just sucked right out of the mood of the trailer. I was like, oh.
Well, hopefully he's a little more nuanced than his Legend of Tarzan role. Willie, what'd you think of the trailer?
I thought it looked pretty cool. I wasn't surprised to see how big they're going with Kong physically, because they're going to need him to fight Godzilla at some point. But it still was kind of a shocker to see a Kong that's that big. Somebody said it looks like Apocalypse Now meets King Kong, which is kind of the vibe I got. Like, I don't know. It doesn't look like it's not the usual plot that we've seen like 3 or 4 times remade of the film crew going to the island and all that. It seems like these are military types that are going, which is different enough, I think. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It looks cool. And John Goodman, I mean, John Goodman kind of always counteracts the Sam Jackson effect, I feel like. So.
The antidote to Sam Jackson.
Yes. If you include some Goodman, it'll counterbalance the Sam Jackson.
All right, good to know. That's your movie actor chemistry equation right there. Tim, did you watch the trailer? What did you think?
It's like cooking.
Yes.
Did I watch the trailer? Yes, I liked it a lot. I thought it was awesome. If they get to the island within the first 2 hours, it'll be better than the Peter Jackson version.
That's a high bar, Tim, but we'll see. Okay. I don't know if there's any. Yeah, I think both you and Willie like it a lot. I still haven't watched
I don't
it yet, but
I don't dislike it. It's just
It's
too.
Cool.
It takes a while to get. It does. It takes a while to get going.
Worms. Nick likes the worm monster, isn't it?
Oh God. Just nightmare fuel.
Nick's favorite part.
So I think we can move into the DC stuff that they shared. We got a trailer for Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Let's start with Willie. What did you think of Wonder Woman? Did you watch it?
Yes, I did. It was sweet. I liked it a lot. I'm looking forward to that movie. The action looked unique, which is something that you don't see in a lot of superhero movies nowadays. I mean, you expect it with something like a Doctor Strange, because we haven't seen a superhero like that before. Wonder Woman still at her core is very punchy and kicky. You know what I mean? Which is fine, but they're doing it in ways that feel interesting and unique. I think they're using the lasso in cool ways. I think they're using her sword in cool ways and combinations of those things.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it looks interesting. I dig that we're going to get another movie like First Avenger. I mean, it's a different period because this is World War I, but I think that's cool to have another movie like that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. She was an interesting part of BVS. Even though I don't think she was featured, I mean, she wasn't featured a ton, and some of the moments she showed up for were kind of unintentionally goofy. I think you can't take your eyes off her as an actress, like in that role. I mean, she's interesting, and she's yeah, she definitely does it for me. So.
Okay. Tim, what did you think?
It did it for me.
Yeah. Good to know.
I thought this was awesome. I thought this was great. The action, it was like Zack Snyder's Speed Rampy, but it was cool. It was funny. It was snappy. It kept the Wonder Woman. I believe that's what Willie is referring to as the excellent Wonder Woman guitar riff that she has, and it kept it in the button for the trailer, and it was kick ass. It was bitchin', as they say. So no, this looks great.
Or did I lose you guys? Did you lose me?
We're all here. We're good.
Okay.
I'm here. Yep.
We're all
yeah,
here.
yeah.
Sorry. I'm on terrible hotel internet, so I apologize to everybody right now. Did I cut into your thoughts, Tim?
No, I'm done.
Okay.
No, I think the last thing he says was that she does it for.
Yeah.
In a big way.
In many ways.
Okay. I didn't hear any of that.
It's good. Good.
but I hope everybody else
Let's
did.
go.
All right. Next up, we got Justice League.
Wait, we didn't talk to Nick about it.
Did I?
No.
Okay. I tried to throw it to Nick, and then I apparently died again. So
And then
Nick,
Tim just steamrolled right over it, I'm sure.
Nick, what did you think of Wonder Woman?
She does it for all of us, I think. And does it well. No, it looks awesome. Like Willie said, it's unique, and like Tim said, it's in that vein, that's in the same kind of tone but better. So, and it's weird because it's Patty Jenkins. So the people that gave Thor 2 the hard pass are coming around to the right material, I think. So that's really good. And Chris Pine looks awesome. It's cool that he could have like the AAA leading role if he wanted, but it's cool that he's choosing to play kind of second fiddle to Wonder Woman. That's kind of sweet, I think. It looks great. I think it looks awesome. So I'm in.
Awesome. All right. Justice League. We got the first trailer for the Justice League, which I think I heard was more like just two scenes kind of cut together. So, Nick, let's start with you. How was Justice League?
I think it's I'm, fool me once, fool me twice. But I'm in. I mean, I think it looks really good. Tim said in the group text that he liked Wonder Woman better, and I think the Wonder Woman trailer is a better trailer, but I think I'm a little more excited for Justice League because I'm an idiot and can't learn. But I think they've kind of got it. They're kind of learning from some of their mistakes, and they're kind of striking a balance in tone that they really need to. But the cast seems like I guess I'm speaking more from off camera now. They seem like they really gel in real life, so I'm hoping that translates to the screen. I think Flash looks really good, which was a big concern for me, as well documented podcast. But he does. He looks really good.
I think from the image I saw, the chin pubes are gone.
They are. Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. They've been burned away by the Speed Force. Okay. Aquaman looks awesome. Like I'm actually, he's the only character that seems like full tilt, still dark and gritty, and I think it's great because the trailer plays to it to good effect, I think. So I think it looks really good. I think they've toned down brooding Batman, and he's got some quips, and they're good. And I think it looks really cool. I'm once again really excited for the DC movieverse.
Brooding Batman and sassy Superman have receded to the background.
Superman has definitely receded to the background. He's not anywhere in the trailer, which is kind of interesting. And
It's Nick, did you see Batman v Superman?
Yes.
Okay. Something happens in that one.
Well, yeah, but okay. I won't spoil anything.
Yeah. Tim, what did you think of Justice League?
It was okay. It's a Zack Snyder movie, so I'm not excited.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that.
All right. Willie, what did you think?
It's not a trailer. It's two clips, like you said. So I'm not gonna judge it as a trailer because it's not.
Haters.
It's
I like
the
Wonder
nice
Woman.
thing about this.
Sorry.
The nice thing about this is that I feel like they're trying to inject some of that humor and the camaraderie into it, which I didn't feel with. Well, I mean, they're different movies, but I haven't felt that with the DC stuff so far. So it's good. I hope that they're able to find a balance to have more fun with it. I think characters like the Flash, and I don't know much about Cyborg as a character, but characters like the Flash and even Aquaman, I think, have a sense of humor to them that Batman and Superman don't always manage to capture. Or at least they haven't so far on screen. So hopefully they're able to find a nice marriage between kind of the. I don't want them to be just like Marvel movies by any means, but I'm hoping that they are able to find their own blend of humor and that darker edge that a lot of the DC properties have had so far, and kind of, I don't know, married the two together. So I'm not sold by it because I am. I mean, I am kind of. I'm not. I haven't been happy with the last two, so I'm not sold by it. But I think it's a step in the right direction, and I'm very curious to see like an edited trailer for it and see what I think of when I see that. So yeah.
All right. Yeah, now that Zack Snyder is lowly PA on the production, maybe things will turn around a bit. So I think that was it for DC. Was there much else that I didn't catch? No?
No, just the TV stuff, but I.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Okay. For Marvel, the big one I think was Doctor Strange. What did you guys think of that trailer? Who did I not pick for Tim? What did you think of Doctor Strange?
Oh, way to pick me! I didn't watch it.
Okay. Willie, what did you think of Doctor Strange?
It was all right. It was all right. I don't know.
We are
I haven't
bringing
been
the
nuts
hot take.
about. No, I mean it was okay. I haven't been. I wasn't nuts about the first trailer. I thought it was cool. But this is the first Marvel movie where both of the initial trailers I haven't been wowed by. I mean, I think there's some cool stuff going on here, but I don't know. I feel like I don't have any idea of what is actually going on in the movie, and that's a little bit of a bummer. Beyond what I know as a comic book fan, as somebody who has at least a decent grasp of Doctor Strange's origin, beyond that I don't have any idea, and I wish I knew a little bit more. I don't want him to give all the big beats away, but I'd like to know a little bit about what I'm going to watch. So it's good. It was good. I mean, it's a well done trailer. I'm not wowed by it. So
Okay. Yeah, and I think you and Tim have both kind of voiced your concerns with Scott Derrickson so far anyway. So the skepticism is strong with Doctor Strange. But Nick, as the resident Doctor Strange groupie, how did you feel about the trailer?
I pretty much agree 100% with Willie. I should be nodding, not shaking my head. It's all right. It's all right. I think I like it better than the first trailer because there's a little bit of a better sense of what's going on, but at the same time, it's more confusing than the first trailer. So I don't know. I mean, if I was a non-comic reader or didn't know anything about Doctor Strange, I probably wouldn't really understand what this movie's about. And I'm not even sure I know what it's about right now, so that's fine. It has a joke that made me laugh, even though it's kind of stupid. Yeah, it's all right. I'm concerned that they're still not really going they're not going there with Doctor Strange. Like they're not making him as he is, which is okay. I understand the need to to shift things around for movies and stuff. That's fine. I want to see some whoop-ass magic stuff, and there's mostly just Inception things and kaleidoscope stuff in the trailer, and I'm kind of well, it looks cool, but what does it really mean? So
Okay.
I don't know. The casting all seems really good though. Everybody in it looks great. The costumes are awesome. Some of the locations are really good. So yeah, I think whatever, more of the same. Still looking forward to it.
All right. In
yeah, it
terms,
looks a lot more Inception and a lot less Hellraiser, which is a bummer.
Yes, I want more Hell Dimension, less here's Manhattan bending in on itself.
Yes,
Again.
absolutely.
There are some cool shots from that though. There's one in particular I'm thinking of that's really, really cool. But I have a feeling I'm gonna be sitting in the theater just going, just not able to process what's happening. Should be bad.
we'll make sure like Gravity we sit at the front row for that one. So.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Oh God.
And drink heavily.
In terms of the Marvel TV that people do care about, we got an announcement for Daredevil season 3 is going to be coming at some point in the future. So I think most of us will agree that it's exciting.
Yes.
There's also, did they show a teaser for Defenders?
Yes. Yeah.
Did they release that one to the public?
Yeah.
Yes.
What'd you guys think of that one?
It was a good teaser.
Okay,
It was a
All
teaser.
right, no, wait. All right, so rank the teasers: Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Defenders in order of your excitement
That order.
for them. Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Defenders for you,
Yes.
Nick. Okay,
Yes.
Willie.
Yeah. Yep.
Tim, did you watch any of them?
I watched Luke Cage.
And
So
you
that's
liked it?
number one.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
That's number one.
The other
Tim
two
goes
are
Luke
tied for
Cage,
second.
Luke Cage, and Luke Cage.
Which
Good
is
to know.
a great reaction, honestly.
Does anybody want to talk about those more in depth? Are there any deeper opinions on these teasers, or just
Willie should.
No. Willie?
Sure. I mean, yeah. It gives you just that little taste of, okay, it's coming. There's a couple little clues about what the plot might be, who the villains might be, but I'm not going to say anything about that. I'm a little underwhelmed if it winds up being what I think it is, but whatever.
So Willie.
Iron Fist looks cool.
Okay. Sorry. Keep going.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, what
Yeah.
brings Iron Fists to second place rather than first? Because I feel like you care more about Iron Fist than you do about Luke Cage in the comic realm.
Yeah, I mean, Iron Fist is a character that is, one of my favorite comic book characters. But the Iron Fist teaser is like 20, 30 seconds long. There's like
Okay.
barely
Yeah.
anything to it, so it'd
It's
be,
definitely
it would have to be a very, very special 30 seconds to beat out the Luke. So yeah, that's why. It's not that I mean, at some point I'm going to be more hyped for Iron Fist than I am for Luke Cage. I don't doubt that, just because I like the character, I guess, better out of the two. But Luke Cage looks awesome. So
Okay.
that soundtrack, the soundtrack for that show is going to be amazing.
Yes.
Okay. And then Defenders, what was it? How long was that one? Was that the same as like Iron Fist?
Yeah, it was real short.
Was
I
it
mean,
just
no
all of
footage
them
or
like
anything.
walking
It was
out? Okay,
just-
it was.
No, it's like it's a voiceover. It's a voiceover from a character we've seen before, and he saying some cryptic stuff about the four of them having to get over their crap to fight together. It was cool. I mean, it's the design of the Defenders, of the trailer and the logo and everything was cool. They used a Nirvana song, which is interesting. They used kind of a weird remix of "Come As You Are," which is kind of fun. Comic book movies don't play with that too often, so. But no, I mean, it doesn't show much. It doesn't give much away. I mean, you could speculate, but yeah.
All right, Nick, any thoughts on those?
No, not really.
All right, and then did anybody watch the trailer for Legion, the FX
I just did
show?
today. Yeah.
What'd you think of that?
I have no thoughts. It makes no. I don't know what it is. It doesn't really make any sense. I know nothing about Legion though, and so maybe like a Legion superfan would get a lot out of it. But I don't really know what to make of it. It doesn't really look cool. I don't know.
Okay. Just for listeners, Legion is typically Professor X's son in the X-Men comics.
Yeah.
There's an FX show that is not currently tied to X-Men movies in any way, supposedly. However, it is also being the showrunner for the show is Noah Hawley, who is the showrunner for Fargo. So I'm pretty interested in it. I think it might end up being cool, but I kind of watched the trailer and was like, okay, this seems weird, and then closed it and didn't think about it anymore. So, you know. All right, okay, and then I guess there's two other tiny news bits, or one other tiny news bit that people probably don't care about too much. Willie might. Robbie Reyes, the current Ghost Rider in the comics, is coming to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Willie,
Yeah,
any
that's cool.
thoughts on that? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm. That show is so. that show is such goofy fun at this point that like I don't know. I say just go for it. Yeah, throw Ghost Rider in there. Throw
Uh,
whatever.
do you remember who they cast? It's a
I don't think
younger
it was
guy.
any. Yeah, I don't remember the name. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I
Yeah.
looked him up. He didn't look young, like young.
Gabriel Luna.
He doesn't look young like I thought Robbie Reyes, because Robbie Reyes is like a teenager.
Okay, he's 33 as
Yeah.
the actor who they cast. Gabriel Luna.
Another 33-year-old to play a 17-year-old? Good.
Yeah. Well, that's basically Taylor Kitsch in Friday Night Lights. But
90210 pulling
I was
it
gonna
off.
say-
all right.
It's a more sophisticated time.
Are there any other Comic-Con thoughts that we would like to touch on? Seemed like the weird thing that's happening with a lot of California-based trade shows, including E3 and Comic-Con, is that I think the bigger companies are realizing that they can just announce things to their fans directly and that they don't need these big events to do that. So it sounds like a lot like all the news we just talked about came from I think 3 movie studios.
the
Oh, guys, Brie Larson. Brie Larson.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Brie Larson has officially been cast as Captain Marvel. Willie, what do you think of that?
I'm down. I like. Let's do it.
Was there anybody else that you would rather see?
They were. You know what? They were kind of. I think Emily Blunt's name was being thrown out there because I know she was up for Black Widow back when
Yeah.
they were casting for Iron Man 2 and some. I think it was a scheduling thing. I don't know. Anyway, she was one of the names tossed around. I would have been very cool with Emily Blunt too because especially after Edge of Tomorrow, she kicked so much ass in that movie. But I like Brie Larson and I've never seen her in anything quite like this. So yeah.
Okay. Nick, I think you were nonplussed isn't the right word. You were meh about this news?
No, it's good. It's yeah, good job. Go team.
Yeah, it's just casting. We kind of stopped talking about casting a while ago. But Tim, did you have any thoughts on Brie Larson as Captain Marvel?
She does it for me.
Okay. All right. But yeah, I don't know. That was Comic-Con this year. It seemed like a little bit less of a to-do than it normally is. Although maybe that's just
I wanted
me
to add real
not.
quick.
Yeah.
The Star Trek panel is all online, the Brian Fuller Star Trek panel, and it's really
Yes.
awesome. It's really good.
I heard
Yeah, I'm
that.
actually gonna go and download that on my phone as we speak because you texted me about that and I haven't done that yet.
I'm surprised they didn't
Um,
get any Guardians 2 stuff made available to us.
Yeah, they show. That's the other thing is that I don't know. Did you guys read any of the plot summary or like little summary things about the Guardians footage or the Spider-Man footage?
A
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah, I did.
A little bit, yeah.
I don't know if we want to talk to. I mean, I don't know. I feel like the stuff that I read about it is stuff that I didn't want to know, but um,
Yeah, I don't think we need to talk about specifics.
Right.
everybody's excited about Guardians.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Yes.
Everybody's excited about Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, they said they were going for
Yeah.
a Freaks and Geeks tone, so yes.
Okay, that's good.
Plus, it's got Zendaya.
All right. Some surprise feedback that I forgot that we had. Alistair Connell wrote in saying, Ni hao film nerds, greetings from sunny South London once again. As always, it's been a pleasure to listen to your recent reviews, and I'm particularly grateful to you for reviewing The Shallows and disclosing Nick's hilariously irrational fear of sharks and the swimming. And the swimming biting things that lurk beneath in quotes.
Ugh.
I wouldn't have given a second thought to this film before, but now that I've heard your review, I'm looking forward to seeing it in the cinema when it is released in the UK in a few weeks. But today I'm writing to you to express some greater gratitude and do a little panhandling for some moments of your time. As a long-time listener of podcasts like the Slash Filmcast, MFN, and Film Spotting, I've been keen to try my hand at podcasting, and the first result is finally here. Together with my 2 dedicated cinephile chums, James and Jeremy, I have dipped my toe in the waters of podcasting with an episode discussing Steven Spielberg's adaptation of the BFG, which also includes a broader discussion of the films that have been adapted from Roald Dahl's books and short stories over the past 45 years. I hope you guys can find the time to listen to the podcast and perhaps give a plug on your show. Part of the influence and encouragement to start a film podcast came from listening to your show, and I very much look forward to refining and improving this podcast, a process that you have all been through and has resulted in an ever-improving show. The podcast is called Films of Every Color, and it can be found on Mixcloud and my blog, www.filmsoferycolor.com. iTunes listing is still pending. Many thanks for great podcast content and inspiration over the years, and best wishes from Europe's little runaway, Alistair Connell. So, there you go. There you have it. Check out Alistair's podcast. I haven't had the time to do it myself yet because I've been out and about, and I'm kind of waiting for it to hit iTunes.
It's on iTunes. I got it right
It
here.
is now? Okay, sweet. So it's on iTunes as of our recording. Go check out Films of Every Color. And my guess is that if you like our show, you'll probably like that one too. Please still listen to us after you find out that it's better than ours. And yeah. So I think that's about it for all of the non-Star Trek news. Nick, is there anything else you want to talk about before you leave us and eat your dinner that you cooked?
No, I don't think so. This year for Comic-Con was kind of like, I mean, like the news was trickling in, but it feels like the past few years have been like there's been like huge things that have happened.
I remember sitting on Willie's couch and like refreshing pages so that we could sit there and talk about it for hours on end, and I don't feel like I had any drive to do that this year. So that's sad, but I don't know. I heard the news that Disney's bi-yearly D23 Expo is going to be the week before Comic-Con next year, so they may not even go to Comic-Con. Particularly Marvel may not even go to Comic-Con for Marvel Studios, so that's interesting, especially considering I think Star Wars Celebration was earlier that week this year too, so I don't even know. It sounds like Disney could end up overshadowing Comic-Con at this point, but I guess we'll have to wait till next year to find out.
Yeah.
Was there any comic news at Comic-Con?
No.
Okay.
They don't do that anymore.
Inhumans versus X-Men.
Yes.
All right.
That's happening.
Is that the only X-Men comic that's gonna be printed like now? Because aren't there no?
There are
No.
three. I think there are
There's
three.
still.
Well, 4 if you count Wolverine, and I read all of them right now.
Okay.
Not sure why, to be honest with you.
All right, good to know.
But I hope the.
Okay, well, I look forward to all of the Inhumans killing all of the X-Men because Marvel just wants to completely decrease any interest in X-Men movies.
No, I would rather have uninteresting X-Men comics than Inhumans comics that are really good, just because I'm that bitter.
Well, we'll find out how that goes when Willie tells us all about the ridiculous matchups that come up. So. All right, Nick, go eat some food. Thank you for joining.
All right, guys, enjoy. I look forward to hearing about Star Trek. Sorry I haven't seen it, but
that's all right.
Bye, boy.
It's better than Into Darkness, so if that makes you feel any better.
How does it stack up against the first one?
I still like the first one more, but we'll get to that.
Tim?
The new one. This is my favorite new Star Trek. But
Really?
we'll get to that.
Willie?
This is the best new Star Trek.
Whoa!
Wow. All right, I'm outnumbered.
Are there any giant sharks or sea beasts I would be concerned about?
Idris Elba, he chews the scenery like a shark.
Oh, that's good news.
At times he kind of looks like a shark too. So.
Okay, all right. I can get behind that. All right, have fun, guys.
All right, see you later.
See ya.
All right, so on with the show. We've got our review of Justin Lin's Star Trek Beyond. The IMDb synopsis says the USS Enterprise crew explores the furthest reaches of uncharted space, where they encounter a new, ruthless enemy who puts them and everything the Federation stands for to the test. The people starring in this movie include Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, Carl Urban, Zoe Saldana, Simon Pegg, John Cho, Anton Yelkin, rest in peace, Idris Elba, Sofia Boutella, and many, many more. Deep Roy as Keenzer. Um,
Yeah.
if you want to hear our thoughts on previous Star Trek films, listen to the rest of this episode because I'm sure we're going to talk about them. But also go back and listen to our review of Star Trek Into Darkness. That is probably one of the penultimate episodes of the, not penultimate, an important episode of this podcast history as it created the first Alex's Tears moment. So please go check that out. And it's a good thing we're recording this one in video because I might start crying. Probably not. But anyway. Tim,
What am I? Yeah.
what did you think of Star Trek Beyond?
I don't know if you heard me, but it's my favorite of the new Star Treks.
Yeah, I did hear that.
No, I guess we can give a little bit of background.
Yeah.
Original series is my favorite show. Um, I I like a lot of Next Gen, but a lot of it I find really boring, and I really like Deep Space Nine. I've only seen like 2 or 3 episodes. I've only seen a few episodes of Voyager, the one with the Rock, and I've never really seen Enterprise.
Okay.
So there's my TV, and I like only one of the Next Gen movies, which is First Contact, and then the rest are, and then I'm just running them all down here, and then I actually like all of the original series except for 5. I'm not crazy about. I even kind of like 1 at times. But 4 is my favorite. 2 is the best. Wrath of Khan is the best. Voyage Home is my favorite. So there you go. That's a background.
Okay.
I guess I'm not done. '09 I liked a lot. I felt it was more. It was a little bit too much. It felt a little bit too much like J.J. Abrams just wanted to make Star Wars, which he went and did.
Yep.
So good for him. And I did not like Into Darkness at all. I thought it was a betrayal of Star Trek completely. So
Yes.
I was really bummed out by it. This brought me back in. First of all, I should put it out there. I'm one of the people too that thinks Star Trek works way better as a television show, just by nature of it. Even the movies, I like a lot of them. I think I could probably stick up for 2 and 4 as being like legitimately good movies, and maybe '09 a little bit too. But most of them are at best like good Star Trek movies, if that makes any sense. This though I felt this was the one that got the spirit of the original series the most. And I mean, with the original series, it was all about adventure, exploration, and at its core, it was about people of different backgrounds working together. They used their skill sets to kind of further the human cause, if you will. And that is what I think this movie gets more than the other, definitely more than Into Darkness, which does not get that at all. Into Darkness wants to be something else completely. I really don't like what it goes for. It doesn't. The reason I think it works better for me more than '09 is because '09 had a lot of that hero's journey, like Destiny stuff with Kirk, and this drops that. This is Kirk 3 years in to his job, and he treats it like a job, which I really like. And honestly, the whole crew treats it like a job. And that was how the people on the original series, I mean, it was their job doing this, traveling around the galaxy, finding new places, basically punching people every week. So that was
Making sure that their spaceship got destroyed completely.
yeah, pretty much. So I like that. Yeah, how many movies is this that the Enterprise has been destroyed?
The first time was the search for Spock.
Okay.
That's all I know.
Okay.
I haven't seen all of the
The
Next Generation movies,
I think it does in Generations. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think
It blows up in every next gen movie, all of them.
All of them.
It
Okay.
explodes in like every next gen movie. I
Cool.
swear to God.
It's good that JJ carried on that tradition and Justin Lin as well.
Yeah.
Um,
so yeah, fair enough. It doesn't do a lot new when it comes to that, but like I said, it's a story about a group of people working together, and that to me, at its core, is Star Trek, and it gets the characters right. It finally gets Spock and Bones together by themselves, and it's amazing what it does. And this is the first time I like Chris Pine a lot, and I like I like parts of Kirk in the first two, and I kind of treat him differently in the first two because he's a guy coming into his own, and he's not a bad boy anymore. Like he's not Rebel Kirk really. He's finally showing that he's becoming the Kirk from the original
Leader
series.
Kirk, yeah.
Leader Kirk, and that's nice. I really like that. So the reason why I can't put this up there as like even a great Star Trek movie. I liked it a lot, but the villain is just it. It's missing something. Idris Elba. It the one area that doesn't work as a perfect Star Trek movie is on an allegorical level. And what's that noise? Sorry. So it doesn't work on that level, and I think where they miss the boat is with the villain, because there's some seeds of interesting things with Idris Elba's character that could really, really work, and it flirts with it at times, and I'm thinking particularly of the character, his military past, and it never goes any deeper than that. So I still didn't dislike him, but that's the area where I went, oh, if they would have got that part right, I would have loved this movie forever. Like this would have been probably one of my favorite Star Trek movies. As it is, it's probably I would say 3 or 4, probably in that area for me. It worked for me from start to finish. It's quick, it's snappy. You can tell Simon Pegg has picked up a lot from Edgar Wright, and particularly the Mission Impossible movies too, because he does a lot of setup and callback, and some of them are really clever. Some of them can be a bit, some of them kind of annoying for me. There's a MacGuffin at the center of it, much like the Mission Impossible movies. That it doesn't quite work for me. But Justin Lin is I think he's the MVP of this, because I think he, in a way, fits perfect with the themes of Star Trek, because even the Fast and Furious movies kind of have the same thing going on. I mean, there's an optimism to human beings in that, in the Fast and Furious movie, and all the different walks of life and how they come together and solve problems. It's really optimistic. It's what I thought. That's what turned me on to the original series. If you ask me, and it's not so much the deeper science fiction parts of it. It's that, and I think even a kid can grasp that. So that was nice. I wish it would have hit more with the villain, to be honest, and I think that's where it misses the boat just a little bit. But I really liked it a lot. Probably my favorite movie of the summer.
All right, Willie. Let's get a brief primer on your Star Trek experience, and then what you felt about Star Trek Beyond.
I mean, out of the 3 of us, I'm the Star Trek. What's it like? I'm the cadet. I'm a young cadet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know a ton of Star Trek. I mean, I know the basics. In terms of movies, I've seen the 3 in this series now. I've seen Nemesis and Generations from the Next Generation movies, and then probably bits and pieces of other ones in there. Enough to know that the ship explodes every time. And then I know I've seen bits and pieces of the Spock trilogy from the original series movies. So, not very well versed. I liked in this particular series, I liked the first movie. I thought it was, for somebody who didn't grow up with Star Trek and who wasn't interested in Star Trek as a kid, cool entry-level universe. And I think that was the goal, so well done. The sequel, I think if I didn't have any sort of pre-knowledge of any sort about the movie that movie was kind of aping, with it, I wouldn't have loved it. I would have been all right with it. That being said, knowing what original version of that story, I think it's a cop-out. So I almost feel like it's a cop-out for you guys, more than for myself. Like it breaks my heart for you. This one I enjoyed quite a bit. It felt like a group of capable adults doing their jobs to the best of their ability, which is very cool. And they're just trying to go out there and survey this galaxy. It's got to be surveyed, and they're going to do it. And they just bump into trouble. It just happens to happen. You know, it's not like they're out there looking to fight wars or battles or get involved with, or interfere with alien cultures. That's kind of the whole point of the mission is that they don't do those things. But that they study and survey, and they get kind of wrapped up in this struggle that involves a lot of different alien species and peoples. And I think that's cool. That's the way a conflict should be in a Star Trek movie. It shouldn't be them seeking it out, or I felt like with the last movie, they felt like a military, like a military unit.
Yeah.
And even a little bit in the first movie too. They felt a little bit more military, which is I get the desire to push it that way, but it's not Star Trek. I thought all the actors were top notch this time around. I thought it was a pretty tight script. I agree. The villain, I really liked Idris Elba's performance. I loved watching, like, I think we could call Idris Elba a movie star at this point. I mean, so I mean, he's certainly a recognizable talent. He might be a bona fide movie star, but it's cool of his caliber not be afraid to wear a shit ton of prosthetics, and look like a hideous monster. That's so cool. I don't feel like you see that very often anymore, and good for him to do that. It was kind of bittersweet on kind of in a real world way to watch Anton Yelchin in this one. He gets a little bit more to do, I think, this time around than he did in the last movie, I think. But it was a little bittersweet. It was sad to see him. It was cool to see him up there, and he gets a lot of interplay with Chris Pine, and he gets to be, for a certain portion of the movie, he gets to become one of the two kind of stars of the show, and that was cool. That was nice. And I really like the new character. Is it Jaina? Is that
Jayla.
how you pronounce her name?
Jayla. Like
Jayla, okay,
Jaylah. Yeah.
Yeah, she. And I'm not. I looked up the actress afterwards because I was like, I feel like under some of the prosthetics, I recognize the actress from something. You know what I mean? Like I know I've seen her before. I swear I've seen her before. Turns out but yeah, she was very cool. I kind of hope they keep her around for the next one. Like I don't think at this point you should be afraid of adding another member to the Enterprise crew. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they've established that this is an alternate version of history, so go for it. Also, real quick, just as I don't think this is a big spoiler, there's a moment where we get to have a little bit of a nostalgia moment for the original cast of Star Trek, and I thought that was really sweet. Even as somebody who doesn't really have much of a, nostalgic feelings towards the Star Trek franchise, it was still really sweet. I was like, oh, that's nice. I like that. So, yeah.
All
Cool
right.
movie. Watch it.
I like to think of myself as an original series. Just most of what I've seen. I want to watch more of all the other series, but I just haven't gotten around to it. I've seen the only Next Generation movie I've seen was Generations, and I thought it was okay. And I pretty much enjoy most of the original series movies, at least on some level. I would like to go back and revisit the motion picture just to kind of. It's been a long time since I took my temperature on that one, and I would like to kind of see where that one stands. But of the Abrams movies, I enjoy Star Trek '09 quite a bit, and I am not a fan of Star Trek Into Darkness at all. Star Trek Beyond, to me, I think it's a very finely crafted movie. I think it's a fantastic blockbuster, and it's a lot of fun to watch. And it's very I don't know, upbeat, and there's a lot of beautiful interaction between the characters, which I think is fantastic. Um, but the thing to me is that it doesn't necessarily have that. There's kind of two issues here, and one of them is an ice pack moment, which is the existence of Yorktown. That entire city is just a fable from God knows where that shouldn't exist in a Star Trek movie, which is my opinion. Maybe there's something in Deep Space Nine where there's like stupid MC Escher gravity distortion fields or something like that, where that all makes sense. But I saw Yorktown and was like, this isn't Halo. I don't want this at all. Why is this in my Star Trek movie? And to me, it represents this kind of gradual departure from the kind of science roots of Star Trek, and not so much as the uh, it is science fiction, and we don't have things like warp drives and phasers and teleporters and all that kind of stuff. But they're kind of an extrapolation of where we feel that technology could go in the future. Weird, strange, contorted cities doesn't really work for me in that sense. But and I feel like we've gotten kind of further away from that with each movie. Not to mention the idea that you solve death in the second one. I'm just gonna forget about that movie. I don't even remember most of it, so I'm not gonna
I
talk
think they
about
kind of
it.
forgot about it too.
I hope so,
Yeah,
because they
they
should.
did.
Um, and then on the other hand, just kind of that, like I miss the really high science fiction questions that these movies would ask in terms of like one of the beautiful things about the Return to Spock is like could could the idea that we've sent Spock's lifeless body to a planet that's being terraformed mean that he gets reborn, and what would that do to that character? And exploring those kinds of things, you get a little crazier when it comes down to the time travel in the fourth one, and the undiscovered country is all about like basically meeting God and finding like that gets crazy. But I like that exploration, and it makes me sad that we live in a world where Star Trek needs to be blockbuster action and no longer exploration of science. I get that that's what it needs to be in order to make $400 million at the box office, but I just want to note that it makes me very sad. Um, but all of that being said, the Bones and Spock moments in this movie are beautiful and fantastic. Every time Carl Urban is on the screen, I love every second of it, and it makes me miss DeForest Kelly very much, but also makes me like remember the love that I have for Bones. Um, Sophia Boutella as Jayla, I think, did a fantastic job, and I enjoyed her camaraderie with the crew, even though she's kind of new. Like her and Scotty are fantastic together, and then even when more people meet up, I think she gels very well, like Willie said. Um, and I will agree with Tim. I think there's like a missing link or something about the villain here that would have like tied it all together more in spoiler Terry. But all in all, I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's a movie worth seeing. I think it's one of the best blockbusters out there this summer season. But to me, it's not what I really want out of Star Trek, and I hope I get that out of the TV show. But there was a time where the Star Trek movies were that too, and I miss that. Um, and I'll just say that I think Star Trek '09 to me is, with Leonard Nimoy being there and the fact that it is technically connected to the old timeline, all of that to me, like it kind of makes me okay with the fact that they go in the more actiony direction of it all. Um, because I think it's such a beautiful marriage of like we're gonna jump off with a new Star Trek here, but still tie it into the old. I really appreciated that about that movie, and I feel like it's still to me the closest of like the ideals of Star Trek in terms of like what would happen if Spock went back in time and messed up the timeline. I think that still explores a high science fiction idea. This movie is more of like what's maybe inside of a nebula, and that's kind of the only like that and some crazier stuff that we'll cover in spoiler Terry. But are there any other thoughts or rebuttals or anything, Tim? I know that you look like you want to say something.
No, it's weird. It's like kind of a defense of it, but kind of a not defense of the series as a whole. But
Yeah.
this to me felt like something like The Arena with the Gorn. That's one of those beat 'em up. Kirk drops down on a planet. He immediately he investigates and then he starts punching something or getting into a fight. Like there are a lot of original series episodes that don't have a lot of high science fiction concepts and they're more just action adventure, pulp adventure. But I do agree with you to a point where I wish that we had at least one of these new movies take that on, and I don't necessarily think any of them do it, and that kind of bums me out. I wish it did, and I think this one had the potential to do it at points, and it didn't do it. So
Yeah.
I want to judge it on its own merits, but as a whole, this series, I see where you're coming from with that.
And I think like it's a gargantuan task, but I think there's somebody out there who is going to have an idea or a beautiful script that can somehow give me both.
Yeah.
They just haven't quite found that person yet.
Mm-hmm.
And or that person hasn't quite found that idea yet. Maybe it is Simon Pegg. I think he did a fantastic job here, but it's just not. It doesn't work on both levels. And I would love to see Star Trek be that, where Star Wars is just pure fantasy, fun blockbuster. I want Star Trek to really mean something to science fiction again. So and the person who's going to do it is probably Brian Fuller. And we'll see that in Star Trek Discovery. But now what if Brian Fuller writes a Star Trek movie? I'm getting excited. So I think that's about it for our non-spoiler section. Willie, did you have any other final thoughts?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So we're going to go into spoiler Terry for the audio recording. We'll be right back. For the video recording people, we're going to do an a cappella version of our theme song. I'm just kidding. No, we're not.
You put me on the spot.
No, but we'll give people time to turn it off if they don't want to hear Star Trek spoilers. So to our one viewer, who is probably David Steele or Nick, if you don't want to hear spoilers, tune out now. Okay, you've been given enough time. Welcome to Spoiler Terry for Justin Lin Star Trek Beyond. Does anybody have anything specific that they want to lead off with?
I guess I can get started on the villain. Alex, were there any Alex tears during this movie?
No, sadly there were not. I mean, if we ever got close, it was probably like the nod to Anton Yelchin at the end.
Okay.
Just the kind of the cheers to lost comrades that kind of turns to him.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was, it's something that'll be missed by people that don't really understand the history of this movie in the future, with how this happened around that time. But it's a beautiful little tribute to him that isn't completely overstated and out of and it doesn't pull you out of the movie, in my opinion.
No. Okay.
But yeah, if you want to kind of open up your thoughts on Crawl.
Okay.
Or what was his actual human name? It was something good. It was like Tobin Frost level, I think.
Well, then I'll just say I thought maybe because it kind of worked on me, the picture of the original series, guys,
yeah.
Part 6. I went,
yeah.
That's.
I was kind of to me in that moment. I was kind of like, it was weird. That did pull me out a little bit in terms of like, I was like, am I okay with this? And then I was like, why do I have to ask that question? Because who really cares? And then I was like, no, it's kind of really cool that like this. It makes sense in the universe that old Spock would have that photo with him. you know? And so in the end, I think I came out enjoying that. But while I was in the movie, I was just kind of like, I don't know how I feel about this. But so that wasn't really an Alex's tears moment, but it was interesting to me.
Okay, so Crawl. We want to talk about Crawl a little.
Yes.
Let's see if I can. Let's see if I can remember enough here, because here's the thing: Idris Elba is doing his Ghost Rider style accents, where it's really hard for me to understand what he's saying a lot of the time. Like it's very thick, and he's under a lot of makeup. So I'll be honest with you, I only caught like 70% of his dialogue.
You know what? And
Um,
the thing was, it wasn't even necessarily his accent, but the cadence in which he would talk was such a weird interruption of normal human dialogue that it like throws you off, which I found really interesting considering
yeah.
the fact that he ultimately is actually a human. But yeah, so please continue.
Okay, so I want to start with what I liked about Crawl.
Okay.
On a philosophical level, I liked the idea a lot of them. I was thinking about his military past because he was a soldier before he went into Starfleet, correct?
Yep.
And or he became captain. And I liked the idea that him versus Kirk, the idea that the soldier went out into space and got caught on that planet and got lost and became violent and angry with the Federation. And
Yeah.
it was I thought it was a nice contrast to Kirk, because Kirk wouldn't do that because Kirk doesn't have that military background in a way. He's not. It kind of was saying that, maybe sometimes trained soldiers aren't necessarily the people you want leading your crew. Or so I kind of thought that's what it was saying with that. You want someone maybe a little bit more even-handed than that, and I like that on a philosophical level. But I think I might be reading too much into it now, because
No, I think a lot of people got that out of the movie because a lot of people are comparing it to like Trump and
mm,
that kind of and the Brexit stuff that's going on, which I feel like is like I don't know what worth you find in that comparison, but it
right, I wouldn't go that. I think this was more nuanced and a lot more. I don't think this was a one-to-one like that. I think this is a lot more nuanced. I don't think it necessarily. It was just it was more of a story about a guy who got lost. I still think it was pretty sympathetic towards Idris Elba's character in a way. So I don't know if I would go that far. So I don't see that.
so
But
you guys,
what's that?
Willie, did you hear everything that Tim said?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good. I didn't hear everything you said, but I'm sure it was fantastic.
Okay.
It was great.
Um, it- to me, the thing, and his name is Balthazar Edison, by the way, so that's
No.
fantastic. But it's, I think it's a really awesome idea that he's this kind of. I'm a little bit bothered by like the Fountain of Youth-ish thing that he had going on, because that to me is a little bit of a betrayal to the grounded science of a Star Trek.
And I don't think it was ever. You can get away with it if you explain it a little better. And because the original
Yeah,
series had some wonky stuff too, but I don't know. You've got to give me something there, because it was really unclear what he was doing.
you gotta have Spock being like, oh, he must be doing the blah 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 blah. Like that.
Yeah.
That's where Leonard Nimoy would come in and be like, this is what's going on.
Yeah. There's a
But
there's a name for
it,
that, like Trek Science, and I can't remember what it is, but it's really funny.
Spock's Spock's position, like the sex
Spock's
position of
position or
Game of
Trek's
Thrones.
position is what I've heard. Trek's position is what I've heard. Yeah.
But that, because we're missing that, we just see these dudes wrapped up in like electrical cables, and then he touches them, and I don't even know what
I
the
think I
world is going on there. But
I think I've read like interviews with the original series writers, and whenever they would write themselves into a hole, I think there was like an idea like they just go, oh, just call it dilithium, just say it's due to dilithium crystals. So
yeah, so I think there was somewhat more of a deft hand at it when they were doing it in the TV series, and I missed that. But in the long run, I think the idea of like an older um, captain kind of turning against the Federation is the execution here is really strange to me. Um, particular, like I think it's a much more interesting. I think that would be a much more interesting conflict if it were very plainly on its face. This is an old captain
Hmm.
who is against this issue. The problem there becomes that if they take the Enterprise head on, they're going to lose. And if we, and also they, J.J. Abrams clearly loves the mystery aspect of these movies. So the idea of hiding him behind the fact that he's an alien because he's been using the life transferring powers against the people found on that planet.
Hmm.
I think it's honestly, I think it's as simple as they wanted to have a cool monster villain in this one, monster yet, but then they were like, well, we need to be able to show that how good of a leader Kirk is, so he makes the decision to stay. So we got to show a bad leader. I don't think they really. I think they just wanted a monster, and they were like, well, but we also want a captain who went bad. So let's just make him a monster who's also a captain who went bad. How does that happen? He's got cocoon cables. They don't. They didn't care.
I like to think that they did care, but maybe they didn't. So
I think there's somewhere. I think there's somewhere in between what we're saying and what Willie's saying.
yeah, that's
I
probably
think
true.
there was some thought process into what it means.
And then there were some studio notes that ruined the thing or something like that.
Yeah.
But
I
so,
liked it.
good to know. Good to know. Um, any other thoughts on Idris? Willie, do you want to go in depth on your like of the thing, or do you just want to say that you liked it, which is fine?
No, no, he's good. That's all I got. I enjoyed Idris in this movie. He was unintelligible at moments, but I thought that was funny. So, in all honesty, like I had a good time with this villain because I was like, "What the fuck are you saying right now?" Like I didn't know, but I was like, "Who cares?" Like all he's doing is being mad at things. That's like this villain a lot because to me it's like I think they put a lot of effort into the characters, into the scenario of the thing, into the ship design, into the action sequences, into the soundtrack. A lot of thought and effort was put into everything, and it's like they got to a certain point in the filmmaking process and went, "Shit, we need to have a villain," and they went, "All right." Cast a talented British actor. That's hot right now. I want to have a monster. Put a monster makeup on him. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
honestly, I don't think. I mean, look, I enjoyed watching him, but I enjoyed watching him in the sense of like, this is a goofy thing that has like it's so to me, and like I said, I'm not the most knowledgeable, but to me, so old school Star Trek, like Star Trek movie, like just a goofy, crazy villain, like, but he's in this movie that's like so well made, and so like in my opinion, so well thought out. Um, and like I don't know, he's funny. It's like he crash landed from the alternate universe onto the planet. He's like ah.
Well, it feels
I
like
don't
to
know.
me that if you're gonna go that far with everything else, why would you not spend the time to flesh it out a little bit? But we'll
Yeah,
never know how
he
the
seems half
machine
baked. He
of
does.
Hollywood works.
I thought I read somewhere they wrote this thing really quick too.
I think it happened pretty fast. It had to because after like Bob Orsi ascended to director status and then just got
Oh, that's
promptly
right.
booted out of the airlock like those people that Spock and Bones jumped the ship with. They had to move real quick, otherwise they weren't going to meet the 2016 date. So that must be the case. But we should say really
Yeah, I
quick.
heard he wanted to make a movie called The Search for Kirk. That's what I heard.
Oh God, I would
I
have
heard that
just.
was his big plan.
Can you imagine if we,
Yeah,
we
and
still
then
haven't got a Shatner cameo in these? Can you imagine how awkward that would be? If, like Chris Pine, I think I made this joke in the last episode now, but if Chris Pine shows up and like sees Bill Shatner now and just like, ugh, uh-oh.
you know what's funny? You know what's really funny about that, guys, is that would be the second time that Chris Pine has been involved in the most distracting cameo of all time. I don't know if you remember Chris Pine's little little ditty in Batman versus Superman, where he shows up in a picture
Oh,
and it's
God,
like
yeah.
unexpectedly. And I go, is that Chris Pine? Oh, that's the best.
Oh man.
I want to make this a thing. Hollywood needs to make this thing. Chris Pine interrupting movies. And he just shows up in a scene to totally just pull you out of the thing.
Chris
I'm
Pine.
sorry, that's enough.
Chris Pine, the script doctor plot point.
I want to talk about one
Yes,
thing, but
please.
I want to bring up this thing I saw the other day. I was watching some of the original series episodes. Amy and I have been watching them, and there's one point where it looks like William Shatner has a tattoo somewhere. So I Googled, I'm like, does Bill Shatner have a tattoo? I don't think he does. So I Googled Bill Shatner tattoo, and I was looking, and it was just a bunch of people with Captain Kirk tattooed on them, until I got to one guy who got William Shatner from Boston Legal tattooed on him. So
You mean the Priceline negotiator? Oh
so,
man.
okay, we should talk about the most controversial moment of this.
Well, I just want to say really quick too. Michael Giacchino, I think
Oh my God.
maybe one of the more thematically recognizable themes in this movie. Like he's just Michael Giacchino's awesome.
Yeah, this was next level. He was working in like nods to the original series theme in it.
Yeah.
I listened to this on on a run the other day, and like I listened to the whole thing. It was amazing. Like it's so good.
Yeah, absolutely. But please, Tim, the most controversial moment of the movie.
That was a nice segue, because speaking of music, the Beastie Boys scene. What did everybody think? I want to know.
You know what, Tim? I want to say really quick. I'm glad that the most controversial moment of this movie is not the fact that Sulu's gay.
Oh gosh, that was. First of all, I liked it.
It was cool, but it was let's be honest here. It was a little bit silly. Like it was just like this random cutaway shot to.
No, I was just about to get into it because Kirk gives this like approving look.
Like
nice job.
I'm happy he found somebody he loves.
He did. It's almost like Kirk didn't even know about it until 3.5 years into the mission. It's like
that makes it. He's like, oh, it makes sense now.
it's like, oh, I remember that time
like
that
an
he was shirtless and fencing. That makes sense now.
Oh God.
I do want to say, bless George Takei, he's amazing, but I think he's wrong on this one too. It's okay for.
Yeah, I think so too. Because of it's. I think his argument is completely undermined by the fact that Star Trek 09 exists in its current form.
Right.
So sorry,
So,
George.
Thank
Love
you
you,
for
but
providing. Yeah, so I'm with Willie. Like, I liked it. Like, it's nice that because I know Star Wars has got a gay character coming up. It's nice that Trek beat him to this.
Yeah.
Beat him to the punch. But it's handled in a way that even like in the past that I roll my eyes when I see like heterosexual couples in the same shot.
Yeah.
Everybody,
Yeah.
oh God, that's not good
Yep.
for them. They're in trouble. So, but hey, that's equality.
Okay, back to Sabotage.
Yeah, what did everybody think?
Willie?
I thought it was hilarious. I liked it.
I thought it
It
was.
reminded me of like old school like. I'm sorry. It reminded me of like old school like. I don't know, like old school. Actiony superhero sci-fi movies where like they would have some crazy goofy thing at the end where they play some piece of source music to beat the bad guy.
Does it
You know what I
remind
mean?
you
Like
of
it
Bobby
felt like
Brown in Ghostbusters 2?
yes. Yes.
Yeah.
If they had played Bobby Brown to fight Kroll,
Oh my God, we need to edit that. That needs to be a thing. Not even Bobby Brown, but they
game
gotta.
over.
They gotta play the Your Love is Taking Me Higher.
Your love taking me higher.
YouTube, get on that, please.
That would be good stuff.
Oh.
Just cutaway to shots of Chris Pine from Wet Hot American Summer smiling with glee as it happens.
I was thinking
Oh my
of
God.
cut away to shots of Chris Pine at the Oscars that one year when he was bawling in the crowd.
Yes, yeah. Cut to that.
Oh.
Cut to that. And then cut to like, I don't know. I don't know.
I thought it was a fun moment. I think the Spock and Bones. Spock's like, I believe that's classical. Just it was really funny to me.
Yeah.
Um,
I think I read somewhere that's a Futurama joke. That's a reference to a joke that's made in Futurama.
really?
They
Okay.
always there are jokes like that in Futurama, and they do that because Futurama riffed on the original series a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
But and I did enjoy the mechanics of it being like we don't need to have better guns than them. We just like that ingenuity there is very old school Star Trek to me.
Mhm.
It's very Star Trek in all of its DNA. So I did really enjoy that moment quite a bit, and even Kirk's knowing nod and that one being like, good song. That I thought it was funny. It didn't bother me at all. But what did you think, Tim?
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah,
I didn't know. I didn't like. I At first I wasn't sure,
yeah,
and then like I don't know, just the bombast and the sheer guts of it for just to do that in a Star Trek movie and to have it fit with the character. I like the setup of the fight because they play Fight the Power earlier.
yep.
And Jayla's really funny during that scene too, where she goes, "I like it's like the beats and screaming," I think is what she says, and it's really funny. And yeah,
It was a good moment of Chekhov's stereo.
yep.
um, the what was the other thing I was going to say? Oh, it's a really beautiful shot too, as all the ships are exploding, like the wave that just passes across all the different things. It's that was fantastic.
Mhm.
One of the other really awesome visual moments that I have to give props to Justin Lin for is the like the fixed camera that's on the Enterprise as it comes out of the dock from
Oh yeah.
where and it goes into warp speed or like how like that it's that there were a lot of really beautiful images in this movie and I like that kind of abstraction of warp speed. That's one of my favorite. Like, I think there's a really, it might exist, but there's probably a really cool supercut of like warp speed in movies on
Mhm.
YouTube somewhere that goes from like the snowflakes in the dark at winter kind of thing that we get all the way to like they've gone plaid all the way up to like what's going on here. So I think that would be really cool to see. But that I thought the visuals in this movie were fantastic. Um, Any other spoilers to discuss?
No, I think I'm good. I think. Was
Yeah,
I
I
supposed to
don't.
have headphones on this entire time?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
There's no bleed. We're not hearing us out of your microphone, so
Okay, cool.
that's working out okay. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I guess that's it. I did want to talk about, and maybe I'll save it for the start of next episode. I did go see this movie at an Alamo Draft House. And that was my first experience at an Alamo Draft
Oh
House.
yeah.
So I do want to talk about that, but I'll do it at the beginning of next episode so everybody can kind of hear it.
Mhm.
Um,
Did you
but
like
yeah,
it?
it was
Okay.
awesome. It was a really really awesome experience, and yeah. Um, God, there's got to be something else. Oh, I did want to talk a little bit, and I noticed I did say that I enjoyed a lot of the character work in this movie, but the only like aspect that I had some disappointment in was probably the Sulu and Uhura kind of like their plot line of what's going on while all of the crap is hitting the fan. It just seemed kind of really perfunctory to me.
It feels like there's some missing from an original standard length blockbuster to an hour and 20-minute cut to get it down to 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I agree it's a little light, but I'm not sure if I don't like the sacrifice of it just so it moves quicker.
Yeah, I
But
can understand. They even their function as a whole just seems to be delivery
mhm,
of exposition by Crawl or Balthazar Edison, as he's known to his
mhm.
besties. But um, Yeah, I don't know. And that was one other thing that I thought was really weird. The reveal that he is the captain is really strangely done. Like her, like seeing the video playing in their ship, and like maybe hearing his voice and being like, that kind of sounds like this guy that nobody can understand right now, so we give him subtitles. That
This
doesn't
is
quite connect to me, but
yeah. This is 2 movies now this summer where the big reveal is handled by people watching videotapes that I'm not quite sure how they got them. Like, they got
what,
this in Civil War. Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm not
Well,
sure how the cameras are there. I'm not sure the logistics of it. So, but I'm not sure if it's the proper way to handle these things.
well, the other thing, like it's not her like the way that they even show it happening. All she's seeing is the back of his head until we finally learn that it is him, and they let the video go far forward enough to show him. I was like, if they would have just shown her seeing that, and then I don't, even that doesn't work because he doesn't look anything like that. So it was just really poorly handled in the first place.
Wasn't good. Yeah,
But
it was a little clunky.
yeah.
It's Idris Elba, and it's Paper Robin. But he should play James Bond. So,
All right. Well, if there are no other thoughts, I think we can wrap it up.
I think, yeah. Willie?
I'm good.
Well, if you had something you wanted to talk about, and by you I mean listeners, about Star Trek Beyond, feedback at MidwestFilmNerds.com is where you would send that to us, and we might talk about it on the show. We're at MFN Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. MidwestFilmNerds.com has all previous 188 plus bonus episodes with full show notes, so you can skip over the spoiler Terry. You can also go to the support store on MidwestFilmNerds.com and buy Midwest Film Nerds and Game Nerds apparel, as well as donate to the show. Amazon.Midwest Podcast Network still does work, so if you're doing any Amazon shopping, please make sure you use that link, and part of the money that you spend will come back to us, and we can make our show and network even better. And please rate and review all of our shows on iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you listen to it, because the more you rate it, the higher visibility it gets, and the more people listen to us, and that makes us happy, and it will help us make our shows even better. So, with all that said, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If that's what you were doing, this is our first video episode and our first live recorded episode. I think our peak viewer count was 2. So thank you to all 2 of our listeners out there who tuned in. I know Yoop wanted to be here, but he couldn't because it's 2:30 in the morning in the Netherlands right now. So sorry about that, Yoop. But hopefully you're enjoying our beautiful mugs on this video. But yeah. Thank you very much for listening. Next week, I think Jason Bourne's coming out,
Okay.
but I don't want to commit to that. So either because I don't know if we're gonna do it, or because I'm not sure it's coming out. So
I think it is. I think it is.
yeah, so we'll see what actually happens. That does harken back to episode number 1,
Okay.
Legacy.
The only Bourne movie Willie's seen.
True.
Yeah,
Very true.
so we'll see.
It could be fun for me to review the Bourne. What is this one called?
Jason Bourne.
The Bourne Jason.
Yes, the Bourne Jason is what it's called. So
That could be cool for me to review that.
Without seeing it, yeah.
yeah, we'll see.
'Cause I don't know who this guy is. What's he all about? You know.
Well, it says
He
on the
seems like a
poster
pretty
you know his
ace-
name.
I don't know that.
You knew his name.
For,
You saw the Bourne
I thought
Legacy.
him was the.
They said Jason
I thought his
Bourne at
name
least
was
30
Bourne
times in
Identity.
that movie.
The poster says you know his name, and then it says his name right underneath it. It says Jason Bourne.
Anyway, I don't know if we're talking about that or not, so please stick tuned to our Facebook if you want to know what we're going to talk about next week. But other than that, Kyle XY, go watch a movie.